The body doesn't know the difference between an external threat that we can perceive or a threat that we can produce by thought alone. So if we live in the past or in the future and we always think of worst case scenario, then we're gonna feel this anxiety, this stress created by thought alone. Emotions are meant to be felt and released, and yet we all suffer from trapped emotion within the body. In this video, I want to talk about the emotional center and explain why it is detrimental to our health to have trapped emotions. And then in the second half of the video, I'll be sharing some techniques and practices to assist you or to help you release those trapped emotions. The word emotion comes from the Latin emovere, which means to move or moving. So based on the perception that we have of a certain situation, of a certain event, we're going to have a feeling. The feeling will then travel through the body as an emotion. So the emotion is basically the energy of the feeling in motion or traveling through the body. When we talk about energy, we talk about frequency. So every emotion that we have or we can feel carries a very specific frequency. We have lower frequency emotion and we have higher frequency emotion, as you can see on your screen. So this is a vibrational energy or frequency of the emotion chart derived from David Hawkins, where you can see, and from this graph you can see two types of emotions. So we have the emotions that produces a contracting effect within the body. So those lower frequency emotions such as fear, anxiety, stress will create a sensation of contraction within the body. And then we have the higher frequency emotion that produce a sensation of expansion within the body, such as love, compassion, peace. So I like to call them the expanding emotions. I want to be clear though, every emotion that we feel are valid, whether they are lower frequency emotions or higher frequency emotions, they're all valid and they all carry a specific purpose and they carry a message and they serve a specific purpose for us to acknowledge. Now, if we look at those two types of emotions, the lower frequency emotion, for example, or creating or producing this contracting effect within the body, those emotions are usually associated with the lower energy centers, associated with a survival instinct that we have. So for example, if in your external environment you can feel there is an imminent danger, then you're gonna feel this fear or this stress that will be triggered by the sympathetic nervous system in order to help you trigger the flight and fight response and either fight the danger or escape from the danger. So all the energy around you from your electromagnetic field will shrink, and all the energy will go to the extremities to help you escape or to help you fight the imminent danger that you're perceiving. On the other hand of the spectrum, we have the higher frequency emotion, which our natural state of being. This state is triggered by the parasympathetic nervous system, and it's the state where we can heal, the body can heal, repair, we can be relaxed. So I call it the natural state of being, where we can typically feel in peace, at ease, love, compassion, and so on and so forth. The problem is those lower frequency emotions that I was talking about are meant to be felt for a short period of time. They are just meant to be felt to help us with our survival. And once there is no longer a danger, then the body can just relax and release those chemical stress and chemical hormones or chemical stress chemicals in order to go back to a state of homeostasis. However, we live in a world where most of the people live in a constant state of fear or constant state of stress. The body doesn't know the difference between an external threat that we can perceive or a threat that we can produced by thought alone. So if we live in the past or in the future and we always think of worst case scenario, then we're gonna feel this anxiety, this stress created by thought alone, and the body will have no choice but react as if a threat was imminent, and it will trigger the survival instinct. And as a result, a lot of people can live in a state of fear or a state of stress for a prolonged period of time, and this is where it becomes very detrimental for the body. Because as I said before, when we trigger the flight and fight response, all the energy goes to the extremities, which means the immune system shut down, the digestion shut down. It's not a time to sleep, so it's just a time to fight or escape. And a lot of people will live for a prolonged period of time in that scenario or in that situation. As a result, will affect their biology or their physical body. In traditional medicine, for example, there is a connection, or they show a connection between the organs and a certain emotion that we can feel, and those typical lower frequency emotion. For example, they say that the emotion of anger, when we suppress it, when we repress it, when we don't feel and release it, and we can live with this suppressed emotion for years, over time the anger will affect the liver. So the anger is really associated with the liver in traditional medicine. We have the kidney is associated with fear. So if we're in a state of fear or stress for a prolonged period of time, over time it will affect the health of our kidney. We have also, for example, the lungs, which is associated with the emotion of sadness or depression. So if we are in a constant state of sadness and we have this suppressed emotion that we don't want to experience because it's too painful, so we're going to suppress it. But the body will always express what the mind suppresses. So that's something that you have to keep in mind, that if you don't feel those emotions, the body will express them no matter what. So, and as I was saying, the lungs is usually associated with the emotion of sadness. So a suppressed emotion of sadness will over time affect your lung system. So that's the reason why it's very, very important to feel those emotion and release those emotion. As I said, they're all valid. There is no bad emotion or good emotion per se. There is higher frequency, lower frequency, but all the emotions serve a purpose, and it is very, very critical that we acknowledge the fact that when we feel anger, it is okay. It's just the body. It's just a message that we need to acknowledge, but we need to feel it. We need to live it and release it and not suppress it, because that's how we're going to affect our biology over time, or adversely affect our biology over time. Overall, that the emotional body or the emotional center that we have is located in the gut. So the scientists, or in science, we call the gut system the second brain, because they've found out that in the gut we have lots of neurons, same as in the brain, and there is a two-way communication between the actual emotional center located in the gut and the brain. And as a matter of fact, there is way more communication coming from the gut to the brain than from the brain to the gut. So the guts are always communicating with the brain. So we feel the emotion in the gut, and based on what we feel, it's going to send a message to the brain, and then the brain will create the hormones matching the emotion that we feel. So if we feel stress, then the message will be sent to the brain, and the brain will just release cortisol to match how we feel. So that's the reason why it is very important to have our gut system as clean as possible. Because how can we think right if we cannot feel right in the first place? And again, I'm sure you've heard of the microbiome, and that's how it is very important to have a balanced microbiome in order to be able to feel right and then to think right, because again, the gut system will be sending a message to the brain. Now, if we just look at those trapped emotions that we all have, and let me share with you some practices and modalities that could help you. And first of all, one of the modalities I want to share with you is I want to give you an example from nature, or from the animal kingdom that we that you know they are. I usually use nature and the animal as our teachers. So in nature, for example, when the polar bear is chased by hunters, for example, it will be in a state of stress or anxiety, and as a result, it will trigger this fight or flight response, and it will try to escape the threat. Once the threat is gone, typically what happens is the bear will just collapse and just be on the floor and will start to shake. And what's happening is basically his body, the fact that he's shaking, this is his body reacting to releasing the stress chemicals from the body that the body produces while he was in a state of stress. So it's going to start to shake to eliminate the chemicals from his body, and as well as the emotion, the stress and the fear that he felt. And once he's done eliminating all of this, he's just going to wake up, or he's going to stand up and live his life as if nothing happened. So he's just going to be in a state of homeostasis again, as if nothing happened. So for us, one of the way to release those trapped emotions is basically to reproduce or replicate what we see in nature, or what we see from the animal kingdom. So one of the ways is, if you feel tense, if you feel stressed, if you feel fear, put some music on for 4 or 5 minutes and start dancing and start shaking. And the shaking will just be a trigger for the body to start releasing the chemicals, start releasing the trapped emotions, or those emotions out of your system, out of your body. So try it out for yourself next time you feel in stress, or next time you feel anxious, and you will be able to and you will see how you feel after that. Another way to release those trapped emotions will be to practice meditation. Meditation is the art of practicing mindfulness, or being in the present moment. Typically when we feel tense, or when we feel stressed, or when we feel in fear, it's because we are always thinking of the future or living in the past. And as a result, we're not in the present moment. So if we don't have a threat in the present moment, then we'll trigger this stress response just by thought alone, just by thinking of the future or thinking of the past. So meditation, it's a practice to help you go back to the present moment, where there is no threat, where you're safe, where there is, where you can feel in safety. So that will help you by moving your mind in the present moment. That will help you release the stress and the fear that you may feel, or the anger, or whatever trapped emotion that you have, and will help you eliminate or release this. Another practices, or another different type of practices, as I said, it's the emotion is the energy emotion. So the energy needs to flow through the body. And when it gets stuck, this is where, I always give the analogy of a river. When the river is flowing, the river is pure, the water is clear. But when the river start to flow or stop to flow, then what I call it a swamp. This is where the water is not clear anymore, and start to attract all those bugs and toxins and so on and so forth. So that this is the same thing. The same thing happens for us within our body. When the energy is not flowing anymore and the energy got trapped somewhere, then it's going to create a swamp, an imbalance within the body. And this imbalance will manifest as a pain, or manifest as a symptom, or manifest as discomfort, so on and so forth. So another practice will be to practice like to have a massage, or to do some yoga stretches, or like really moving the body, like stretches the body to really help those areas of stuck emotions to move out and to move through the body. So really massage or yoga stretches or acupuncture are very, very good practices to help you release those trapped emotions. Another way is breathing, and I like these techniques, and especially when you're able to breathe and take all the energy from your lower centers and take them up all the way to your higher centers, where the energy from your lower centers, and again, lower centers, this is the emotional center located in the gut. So when you're able to take the energy from the emotional center located in the gut and put it up into your higher energy center, the heart and the throat, and all the way to your brain, you are able to move all this emotional center and all those trapped emotions, and take them up to help them to help release them. So it's another very powerful practice that you can try when you feel discomfort, when you feel certain trapped emotions. Another, and probably the last I wanted to give you today, is the practice of using traditional Chinese medicine and the body or the organ emotion connection. So as I said before, lungs and with sadness, or liver is anger, and fear it's kidney. So there is different organ emotion connections, and based on where you feel discomfort, then you can identify, okay, I feel discomfort in my liver or in my kidney. This is this type of emotion that is trapped, and then you can intentionally really focus on this type of emotion to really try to start make them move again and release and feel them again. If you want to know more about the connections between the organs and the emotions, I invite you to check out my book on Amazon, The Science of Breaking Free. I'll leave the link down below in the description. Just to conclude this video, I just wanted to let you know that it's okay to feel emotional, and as a matter of fact, once you're going to practice or you're going to try those techniques or practices that I just shared in this video, you may feel those emotions coming out, and you're going to feel emotional. You're going to have, you may have to cry, you may have to laugh, you may have to feel upset or angry or whatever it is, but that's just the normal process of an emotion. An emotion is just the energy traveling through the body, and that energy needs to be felt, needs to be released. That's the purpose of an emotion. We need to feel it, we need to release it, no matter what type of emotion it is, even if it's shame, even if it's guilt. We need to feel them, we need to release in order to release them. There is no releasing without feeling it. So as you're going to try those different modalities or practices, just don't overthink it, let them go. And you may feel emotional, but it's a normal process. That's how it works for our body to release what doesn't serve it anymore. If you want to know more about this type of topic, I will make more video in the future. So please subscribe to my channel using the button down below. Share the video with your friends and family. And for now, I'll see you in the next video.